So a couple of weeks ago I uploaded a video about the worst bits of being a doctor, and I said that I would do a follow-up video about the best bits of being a doctor. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah, I'm a doctor in the UK and I make videos about my life as a doctor and also what I get up to in my free time. Now, normally I look a bit more presentable than this when I'm filming a YouTube video. Right now I've got wet hair, I look like a 90s wrestler, don't I? Like, you know, when they had that oiled back hair. And I'm also in my dressing gown, and that's because I'm rushing to get ready for my mum's birthday party. I've just finished night shifts and I didn't really give myself enough time to get ready, so you guys can get ready with me while I film this video. And honestly, there are so many things to talk about. If you think about all of the TV shows like Scrubs and Grey's Anatomy, we are just fascinated with the medical profession, aren't we? So I thought I'd give my personal opinion about what it's actually like to be a doctor and what my favourite things are about my job. At the moment I am working in neurosurgery, and yesterday I finished a shift and I had one of those moments where I just kind of like fell back in love with medicine, and those of you who work with me will probably cringe at me talking about this, but I'm just going to go there because sometimes I just think, wow, I'm really lucky to do the job that I do. So yeah, yesterday I was working with two registrars. Both of them are really experienced and they were super keen, and I was just marvelling at the patient care they were giving, the skills that they had when we were in surgery. And by the end of the shift, they had literally saved like 4 people's lives, and I got to help with that. And I finished my shift, walked out of the hospital and looked back at the hospital and thought, gosh, there's so much important stuff going on in there. And it really kind of amazes me sometimes. I just have these moments where I'm like, I can't believe I get to do this for my job. As a doctor, you get to work with every kind of person, as in staff, patients, relatives. You get to meet such a broad spectrum of the human population, and I love that. I am someone who loves talking to people, and I find human interaction absolutely fascinating. So I love the fact that I get to work with such specialists in their fields and experts. I find it really inspiring to meet so many amazing doctors, nurses and other healthcare professionals, but I also love meeting different patients and their relatives and having conversations with them, finding out about their lives and just having that human connection with people. It really is amazing. There's often quite funny moments on the wards. One of the nurses last night was telling me about how one of the patients, who was quite confused the other day, just went and sat at the ward clerk's desk while she was up going to the loo or something and opened her drawer and started tucking into her packed lunch, which I just thought was absolutely brilliant. As doctors, we get to do and see things that you just wouldn't see in other jobs. Like last night, I was standing in a room drilling into someone's skull. I got to cut their scalp open, I got to stitch their head back up afterwards. I mean, it really is crazy that we get to do these things.
That's not to say that I've ever had a particularly strong desire to cut open someone's head, but I do find it absolutely fascinating that we can save a life by so many different ways. And as cheesy as it sounds, I do feel absolutely privileged to be able to be part of that. And I recognise that no other profession is able to do these things.
Also, definitely one of the best things is all of the people that I've met and the friends that I've made. Med school is so tough and it kind of feels like a bit of a club that you're all getting through together because you just pull together when it's such hard work. I've made some of the best friends ever during med school, and then also once you're on the wards, I've made really good friends with loads of the other doctors and the nurses and other healthcare professionals. It's such a sociable job and I just love that. It's always nice to have a bit of knowledge about the human body. I mean, it is fascinating in itself, but it's also really useful outside of work. It means that if I get ill, I kind of know what's going on and I'm able to help friends and family and let them know, you know, if and when they need to go and see their doctor, or be able to reassure them if it's just something minor.
We aren't actually allowed to treat our friends and family or ourselves, but it's useful to have that knowledge of the human body because people are always going to ask you as a doctor about their aches and pains, and it's useful to be able to know what's serious and what's not.
When you're at work as a doctor, you are always busy. It is just manic. The workload is really, really high, and that means that you become more efficient as a person, both inside work and out. And I've found that I've just become really good at prioritising things and getting the work done. That means that when I've got free time, I also try and prioritise things well, and get the things done that I really want to get done. On a larger scale, you realise as a doctor that time is short and life is precious, and sadly, obviously, we see lives taken too early. It just makes you value time more, especially time with friends and family, and time doing the things that you love and enjoy. I talked a bit more about this in my what I've learned about myself since I became a doctor video, which I will link down in the description box if you want to have a look at that.
I often get asked in the comments section about how I have time to work full-time as a doctor as well as having a YouTube channel, but actually I think it's just a case of prioritising. I've noticed that loads of my doctor colleagues have multiple hobbies outside of work whilst working full-time jobs as doctors and having families and having time to socialise. So really, I think that being a doctor teaches you how to prioritise doing the things that you want to do and to choose how to spend your time wisely, and I love being able to do this.
One thing that I didn't really appreciate until recently, when one of my friends was talking about how hard it was to find a new job, was that how lucky we are as doctors to have job security. Basically, when you finish medical school, you're almost guaranteed a job. You might not get it in the area that you want, and you might not get the exact jobs that you want, but you won't be out of work, and if you are, you won't be out of work for very long. I also love that being a doctor is such a versatile job. I mean, basically, with a British medical school degree, I could effectively work anywhere in the UK and pretty much anywhere in the world, which is such a wonderful feeling. I also love how versatile the job is. The fact that you come out of medical school and then you could go on to become a neurosurgeon, or you could go and be a GP, or you could be a cosmetic doctor. It's just amazing how versatile it is. So I've got my dress on. This is what it looks like. Excuse all my mess in the background. It's just an ASOS dress. If you're interested in seeing some more fashion videos, then have a look at my playlist, because I've got a load of outfit and haul videos, and I'm going to be filming a load more in the summer. My hair is kind of pinned. I'm not very good at doing this, and when I put my dress on it got really messy, but these pins have been so helpful in styling my hair. I have that type of hair where when you curl it, it looks great for like 5 minutes and then the curls just fall out. If I let my hair cool in these pins, then I find that it makes the style last a lot longer. Fingers crossed that works today. As a doctor, you will never ever be short of an interesting story. At work, we just see so many interesting and funny and shocking things. So it makes for great dinner party conversations, obviously maintaining patient confidentiality, and also not telling too many stories that are really disgusting, because no one wants to hear that over dinner. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, I went down to London to film a video with Dr. Ed from Dr. Hope's Sick Notes. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet, but if you haven't, then definitely check that out, because on there we're talking about a couple of stories from medical school, so you might enjoy watching that. And we've got another video coming out together in a few weeks, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
Let me know in the comments down below if you've already watched this video, and if you haven't watched it, then I will link Ed's channel in the description box, so definitely check that out. Head on over to his channel and leave him some love.
At medical school, you have to take in absolutely loads of information, just vast quantities of information. And also on the job as a doctor, you have to be able to learn things really quickly. Any doctor will tell you about see one, do one, teach one, which is kind of the way that doctors are taught to do practical skills. And although this can be really daunting, it does mean that you become a really fast learner. I used to not be that confident in my learning ability. I always thought that I was someone who had to pore over my notes over and over again for hours on end, but I've realised that I don't have to do that. But the more information you have to learn, the faster you become at learning it. I've noticed in the last couple of years since I've become a doctor, my practical skills have been what have improved the most, I think. And I definitely feel a lot more confident in my practical abilities. And generally, just having to learn things so quickly does improve your confidence, and it means that you're more likely to just go ahead and try things, both inside work and outside. So I feel that becoming a doctor has made me a more confident person. The other things that have helped me really build confidence are that you're constantly put outside your comfort zone as a doctor. You have to, like I said, you have to learn new procedures, and you have to learn them in a pretty quick way. You also have to be able to ask for help when you need it, and that is a skill that needs to be honed. And especially when you have to ask for help from someone that you're a bit intimidated by, or you know that they're going to be really busy and they might be a bit snappy with you, but you just have to overcome that fear and be able to ask for help when you need it, or tell someone what you need from them. And also as a doctor, I frequently have to have difficult or upsetting conversations. Although that is horrible, it does make you a more confident person. So I personally feel that being a doctor has been great for my self-esteem. Right, let's see what these curls look like when I take them out. Oh yeah, kept their shape. I think that communication is everything. I mean, if you think about it, the way that we communicate dictates our whole life. Communication can start and end wars, it can make or break relationships, and as a doctor you learn some really good communication skills, and I personally feel that my communication has improved massively since I've become a doctor and all through medical school. Like I've mentioned about having to have difficult conversations, that's one way that you learn different communication skills, but also just generally day to day on the wards, interacting with other staff and with patients and relatives. And I found that that really carries over into my personal life. Our medical school had a really heavy focus on good communication skills, and I think the most important thing that they taught us is that listening is everything. I'll clip this bit back. I think my hair's turned out quite well actually. Being able to listen effectively has really strengthened a lot of my relationships, both in work and outside of work. So this takes us to the end of the video. If you've watched all the way, then please give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more of my content. You can hit the little bell notification icon if you want to be notified each time I upload a video. And now it's over to you. Are you a doctor already? If you are, then what is your favourite part of being a doctor? I'd love to hear from you down in the comments section. And if you are someone who wants to be a doctor, what are you most excited about the prospect of becoming a doctor? My shout out this week goes to Mariam Buffet. Your comments always make me smile when I read them, and you are so supportive, so thank you so much for getting in touch and for leaving a comment. And if you guys want to be part of the shout out crew, then leave me a comment down in the comment section below, and maybe it will be you next week, or maybe it was you last week and you haven't seen it yet. If you aren't following me on Instagram already, then I'm over at Dr. Sarah Nicholls, and I post regular stories and updates about what I'm up to day to day. So if you want to see a bit more of me, then that is where I hang out. Anyway guys, I've got to go to this party now. Got a 3-hour drive ahead of me and I've got to get going. So it was lovely hanging out with you and getting ready with you today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!